We want to talk to you about Nextdoor, but we did just get the news that Jack Dorsey is stepping down as CEO of Twitter. And when you stepped down as CFO at Square, you said in an interview that any founder that builds a company that depends on one person has failed. And you sort of saw Jack Dorsey echo those comments in his memo this morning. He said that founder-led companies are severely limiting, a single point of failure. What do you think it would take for Jack Dorsey to give up the reins at Square?
Well, that's a speculation I don't think I could get into, but I do think Jack is an incredible person. I learned a lot working with him. First of all, how to scale companies, and that is a place where both a founder and a CEO can really have a big impact. Both Square and Nextdoor were the same size when I joined, about 200 people, and now, of course, we're in rapid scaling mode. Second, Jack is laser focused on design and what's great for customers. That's something I've learned a lot as I've moved to Nextdoor and how we build features and functionality for the whole neighborhood. And then finally, hiring great people, which is the whole point, that you shouldn't be just a single point of failure. You want to have a whole team that came together. That's certainly what we built at Square, and that's absolutely what I've built at Nextdoor. And of course, we're hiring. So if anyone wants to come join our mission, feel free to reach out.
There you go, Sarah. Very key, especially in the talent wars that we see in the Bay Area now across America. Sarah, let's talk about Nextdoor. Recently had earnings. You guys have increased the share price from that SPAC listing. What are you seeing recently, especially given over the last few days with the new variant Omicron? Are you seeing engagement increase? Does Nextdoor sort of get a bump up when we see these variants circulate?
I mean, for sure, it's unfortunate. It's a little bit same old, but Nextdoor is all about local and all about a place for trusted information. So when emergencies happen, we often see people turning to the platform. That really helped us in 2020, but our growth has continued, right? Our WOW growth in Q3 was 20% year over year, and that was on a really heady number back in Q3 of 2020. So people come for that trusted information. Through the weekend, we've been working with folks like the NHS, UK.gov, and the UK in particular, where there was a lot of news over the weekend. Second, I always say it's not public agencies that save you in a crisis, it's your neighbors. It's the power of proximity. Sometimes it's small, maybe it's going to the pharmacy for you. Sometimes it's just checking in, right? We know that loneliness is a big issue right now, particularly as we go into yet another holiday season with the pandemic in the backdrop. And then finally, we're building products like our vaccine help map that was sponsored by Albertsons Companies and Moderna. That's still alive and well and a great place to know where to go to get maybe a first vaccine, a second shot, or a booster shot.
Sarah, good morning. It's John. So I'm wondering if you are reframing the value proposition and even the addressable market for Nextdoor, given some things that we've seen happen in tech lately. I'm thinking about the changes in iOS to ad targeting. You guys have very interesting data sets, not necessarily along tracking people, but you know where people live. Right now, most of your revenue is from advertising, but it seems like there is some subscription possibilities along areas of civic engagement. How are you framing perhaps Nextdoor's value proposition differently in these times?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. First of all, it's a huge TAM, right? We often say everyone is a neighbor, and that's true globally. And in fact, in Q3, our international weekly active users were about 18% of total. That increased from 15% in the year-ago quarter, and that's even with all the growth that we saw. So international remains a really big opportunity for us. You also then leaned into that point about we are a proprietary platform. You are logged in, and so we're not putting cookies around the web to figure out who you are, right down to the fact that we know your address. And so that makes it a very attractive platform from an advertiser perspective. And of course, we want advertisers putting great content up there because that's great for neighbors when they need something. We are a high utility platform. People tend to come with high intent. And then finally, where you started to allude to, I think there are other revenue streams absolutely available to us. Maybe it's working with small, mid-sized businesses to give them a better way to get to their best customers, those that live around them. That said, I would not be doing a good service to my CFO, who always reminds me how large and fast-growing the digital ad market is. So we have a lot of work to do there and a lot of opportunity still on that front.